thank you very much for the opportunity to present. I'm excited to bring to you really what Potatoes USA and our framework is as we head into this upcoming year. I wanted to make sure that we took some time to look at what Potatoes USA does from a marketing standpoint and really break down for you how our programs are structured. So you can see that a lot of our marketing starts from a consumer standpoint. We focus a lot of our efforts on ensuring that consumers know how exciting potatoes are and how they play a major role in their diets. So from the consumer aspect, we have two important sectors. We have the retail sector and the food service sector. Both of these sectors, obviously my specialty is on the retail side, and the food service sector is handled by my counterpart TK, and she does a phenomenal job with that. Both of us, and along with our consumer plans, all focus on ensuring that we're strengthening the demand for potato products throughout the country and throughout the world. So to give you a brief overview on what we're doing from a consumer standpoint, one of the things that we do every year is we take a pulse of the market and we look through a consumer's lens on how they feel, what their attitude and their usage is towards potatoes. And you can see here some of the top highlights. Our number one thing that they want from food is that it be very flavorful. Potatoes obviously play a huge role in this, as they go well with any seasoning or spice. They want them to be fresh, which potatoes play very nicely into that role. I come from the center store with Kraft and Conagra, where we really see that consumers are focused now more on the perimeter of the store. And that plays really well for potatoes going forward into the future, and that's something that we're focusing our programs on, making sure that we capture that market as it continues to grow. I think one of the most important things to notice here is that there is no change in food being something that they get excited about. So the reason that there's no change there is there's really been no movement or any discussion around how do you get more excited about food. We've seen a lot of, was mentioned earlier, you have cricket powder, you have a lot of unique flavors and foods coming from all across the world. But what is it that we can bring to the table to really help people get excited about food? And after a year-long study, what we have come up with is the potatoes power performance. And this is messaging that you're going to see that is going to start entering the marketplace and is really going to get people excited about food and, more importantly, about adding potatoes to their diet. So it's been approved by USDA, which took a substantial effort. With potatoes powering performance, we want to make sure that food enthusiasts and athletes alike understand how potatoes can play a role in fueling their activities in sports. We've already seen this year some unique partnerships with Kristen Armstrong, the three-time gold medalist, Olympic cyclist, with Holly Holm, with MMA. She has been sponsored by Potatoes, and so we're really starting to see this movement begin where we are able to help people understand the power that potatoes can bring to their overall performance. And the beauty of this messaging is that it's going to start with power of performance, but you can see here at the bottom that it's going to start with athletic performance, and then we can grow this further in the future to really go to active performance and then just performance overall. And this is really something that will help us target a bigger market and gain more traction with potatoes in people's diets. When we're talking about food service, one of the things that you'll notice with food service is that it continues to grow. In 2014, food service was at 56% market share when we're talking about the fresh sales. In 2015, it went up to 57%, and we just got the numbers for 2016, and it grew again. So we're really seeing a shift of this urban movement with millennials moving. They like to move into urban populations. They like to eat out. They like to experience food in different ways, which is why we've segmented our strategies to really target them in every area that we can. So the growth in a lot of the food service has come through fresh and refrigerated potatoes. And we continue to see that consumers love to eat potatoes even when they're out eating their meals. We've been able to gain a greater share of menu items that contain potato products. And overall, potatoes continue to grow as part of the share of food service usage throughout the country. Now we'll get into my expertise where I feel more comfortable with retail data. So I've got a lot of numbers up here. A lot of this data is from Nielsen, and it's through the end of September, and it measures the time frame from June through September and how things are performing from a retail perspective. So total fresh potatoes were up 2.7% in dollars from a retail standpoint, but we're down in pounds. So we're not sending as much to the retail stores, and a lot of this is being driven by the change in package sizes. People are moving away from the 10-pound package sizes when we're talking about a traditional retailer. However, if you look at somebody like Sam's Club or Costco or a BJ's, their package sizes are greater than 10 pounds, and they're actually seeing significant growth. So there's a little bit of a misnomer here that people want smaller package sizes, because I think when they're shopping at a traditional retailer format, they are looking for that. But if they already are expecting to get that bigger size, bulkier bag, they're more willing to make that purchase. One of the things that we've wanted to do as Potatoes USA in looking at the landscape from a retail perspective is we focused a lot on the fresh category, but we want to make sure that if we're declining in the fresh, we'd like to know where that is going. So we've begun this year starting to report out on all categories on a quarterly basis on the fresh, the frozen, the dehy, the deli, and the refrigerated. And so you can see here from a frozen standpoint, our dollars are up again and volume is down again. And if you look at dehydrated, you have a similar thing where you have negative volume and negative dollars, but this is something that we're going to see hopefully change a little bit as I get further on in my presentation and we talk about opportunities for us to grow different aspects of our retail business. When you're talking about the deli and the refrigerated, you see a huge increase in deli, which is no shock. For those of you that have a pulse on the retail landscape, you see now that retailers are growing the perimeter of the store. They're really putting focus on what we like to call grocerants, which is grocery store and restaurant combined. It's a really interesting business model that they've transitioned to, and so for us to be able to gain traction in the deli area and in this grocerant sector, we've actually launched marketing programs starting next year where we're going to be able to partner with these retailers and really get potatoes to be part of the menu and help us continue to grow that area. And then the refrigerated saw growth in both dollars and volume. A lot of that is probably driven by a decrease in price, which helped them be more acceptable for consumers to purchase. So some of the trends and opportunities that we currently see in the retail landscape, I think one of the biggest that we've noticed recently is the growth in online retail. So this chart here actually shows what online retail looked like in 2014, just 2 years ago. Well, I guess 3 now, as of a couple days ago. So you had some big names that really focused on growing the retail category from an online perspective. I remember coming out of high school when the internet was just getting going and they really thought that they could make online retail grow, and it kind of went away for a while. They were not successful at making it profitable. And so in 2 years, this is what the landscape looks like now. There we go. You see it everywhere. There's a lot of competition, a lot of opportunity for consumers to be able to find their products through a lot of different avenues. And how do we make sure that potatoes are part of that shopping experience that consumers are having? As this continues to grow, and the growth charts are pretty impressive for what they think online retail is going to do going forward. And we are drafting strategies now to make sure that we're part of that, and we continue to make potatoes a part of that shopping trip. When we're looking at the growth overall in the retail sector, even from a food service standpoint, retail is actually forecasted to grow faster than restaurants. So this grocerant opportunity is really going to take hold quickly and really start to gain traction within the marketplace. And how we can make sure that potatoes take a share of that is going to be our focus. So when we're talking about this growing perimeter of the store, potato dishes do hold currently the largest share of growth within that sector. Potatoes offer a lot of positive benefits to retailers. They're very inexpensive, they last a long time, and they deliver very good margins. So potatoes hold strong in here. They're growing very quickly. And the other sides listed in here do include breakfast, which is another opportunity that we see within the landscape, is how do we get potatoes to be more part of breakfast? And that really goes back to the potatoes powering our performance. So if you're working out in the morning, you're getting up and you're doing exercise, how do you power yourself throughout the rest of the day? You include potatoes in your diet. So this is just some examples of the grocerants that we've seen recently launched within the marketplace. If you're going shopping with your significant other, you can sit down and have a beer while they take care of all the shopping right in the grocery store. It's pretty interesting that this is an opportunity that they saw and they've taken advantage of. You really see these culinary call-outs when you're talking about being able to find exotic cheeses or exotic meats. Grocery stores are really taking it to the next level and continuing to do that. And another thing to point out as well is here on the bottom right, with this picture here, we're seeing within the retail landscape a dramatic shift from grocery stores or retailers being able to cater to the masses and invite everybody into their shopping area, and they're able to segment who they want to target. So we're seeing a lot of these smaller mom and pop stores that are popping up. You see Trader Joe's, which is growing. There's a new one in Seattle called Wine and Vine, which is growing quickly, and they're really small. In Chicago, you have Dominic's, which is growing. And so you have a lot of these retailers and new business opportunities where they're really focusing on this premium or ultra shopping experience, and they're charging that to their customers and making it profitable for them. So it's a really interesting change. One other thing that I wanted to talk about was the expansion of meal kits. Meal kits is something that is extremely big throughout the world, especially in Europe. It's a $1.4 billion business throughout the world, and the opportunity that we see within meal kits within the United States continues to grow. Meal kits right now, a lot of what is done is through Blue Apron, Blue Apron, where you order it and it's delivered to your home. But retailers see this as an opportunity, and they are looking at developing these meal kits in store, where you stop in the store, you pick up a meal kit, and you take it home while getting a few extra groceries. So they're going to be building these meal kits and allowing you to take it home and build it, taking out the extra delivery that you might experience otherwise. And right now, North America only has a 38% share when it comes to the amount of people that are actually using meal kits, and that's going to continue to increase as we go forward. The reason being that meal kits are easier to prepare, comes with all the ingredients that you need. It takes the thinking out of what am I going to do for dinner, and it makes it, if you're focused on delivering a healthy option for your family, you know exactly what you're getting in the meal kit, you know exactly what you're cooking, and it just takes the thinking and the difficulty of actually preparing this meal out of the equation. And the reason the grocery stores see this as an opportunity is obviously if you're getting a meal kit delivered to your home, that cuts down on the number of shopping trips that you're making to the grocery store. It makes it more difficult for you to actually get those extra incremental purchases. And as they are able to continue to enter the marketplace and gain this market share, they'll be able to take advantage of this. So in summary, Potatoes USA is very excited about being able to power people's performance throughout the day. We're going to see a continued growth in food service, and grocerants, it's a very funny word, but it's something that's growing quickly and will continue to take the marketplace by storm from a retail perspective. And the online growth in retail is real. We need to figure out how do we become a part of these experiences when consumers are shopping. We need to make sure that we're training produce personnel on how to select the top quality potatoes when people order potatoes online. They aren't choosing the style of potato that they're receiving when it gets to their house. So how do we make sure that we're taking advantage of that and helping ensure that the consumers are getting a quality product every time? And that's it for my presentation. I highly recommend that you visit our booth at Potato Expo. You'll see it down to the left of the stage. Downstairs, we have a lounge there for you to be able to come and talk with all of us. We are extremely excited about the messaging that we have going forward this year and would love to discuss with you how you see it working for your organization and how we might be able to help. Thank you for your time.